Murder, she wrote. Murder, she wrote. Murder, she wrote. Murder, she wrote. What's going on, everybody? It is... What day is today? Let me just double check, because I noticed yesterday I made a mistake, man. It's November 12th, 2020. That's the thing, man. When you try your best and you think you got it down last night, I finished the videos. I posted it on like feeling good about it. Go back, rewatch it for a second. I'm like, doit. You said 2018 instead of 2020, throwing a lot of people off. So, my bad. But that's what happens, man. When you're rolling live, that's what happens. Let's get into it, man. I wanted to talk to you guys about something that's a little bit personal. This is how we're going to get to know each other. This is how we're going to learn and grow. And, it's through sharing stories. It's through sharing experiences. So let's get into it, man. What did I want to talk to you guys about? I wanted to talk to you guys about juicing, bro. Are you juicing? Are you juicing, dog? Are you even juicing, bro? I'm not talking about that nectarine. I'm not talking about that OJ. I'm not talking about that AJ. I'm talking about that, extra boost, extra little testosterone. I'm talking about, that muscle juice, that testosterone, that D-ball, that Diana ball, that DECA, that Test 300, Test 250. Are you guys juicing? Have you juiced before? Do you even know what juicing is, bruh? Do you lift, dude? Do you even lift, dog? But let's get into it, man. My experiences with juicing. Let me take you back. Let me take you guys back. So I've mentioned this in prior videos, man. Back when I was a teenager, 17, 18, 19, I used to be a personal trainer. I was always involved in athletics and sports and everything. And at one point, I was 18 and I decided to, try steroids. I did it for about a year, and the reason why I did it is because it's, I guess if I have to boil it down and if I'm being super honest with myself, I guess it goes back to a, maybe confidence issues, maybe not, being completely happy with myself, being completely happy with my body, but these are all things that, we share, and everybody can relate to this stuff, whether you're skinny, whether you're short, whether you're tall, whether you're a little bit chubby. Whatever, man, we all have issues with our bodies growing up that we may not be happy with. And some people, what kind of learner are you guys? I'm the type of learner that's got to try things, man. You can tell me, don't step over there, boy. Don't step over there. That's fire right there. I'll be like, I know it's fire, but let me just try walking in, see if I can, make it across okay. And be like, it's fire, dude. You're going to burn yourself. I'm going to be like, let me try it. And I'll go burn myself. Be like, yo, dude, that's pretty hot, but... You'll be asking, so, you're not going to go on the fire again. I'll be like, let me just try one more time. That's the type of learner that I am, right? So I'm like, you know what? 18, 19 years old, I'm always been involved in sports, and I wanted to get a little bit bigger, dude. This is my frame without anything. This is just me continuously working out, regular body weight. I weigh around 145 to 150 pounds. I'm 6 feet tall, fairly active, high metabolism. So it's always been a struggle for me to gain weight. But when I was younger, I was a little bit sensitive over this, and hearing it from friends or family members, and people don't realize this, man, but people are sensitive. People are they take information and they process it differently. Somebody might call you a little bit whatever. Somebody might, it's completely normal for people to say stuff, or it was normal at one point to make fun of people for being overweight or a little bit chubby or whatever, but nobody ever it was completely okay, and it still is for the most part to, comment on people's weights, bodies, looks, and all that. And be like, oh, you're so skinny, or you're so tall, or you're so fat, or you're so this. And I personally don't like any of that stuff. I know it's certainly funny, and like if it's, anyways, I'm not going to get into too much of that stuff, but this was my mentality, somebody who loves sports, who likes to work out, who wanted to, gain a little bit more confidence. So I'm like, let's try it out, man. So, through a friend, I found this guy. It was super sketchy, and basically one night, it was, after I finished my workout at a local gym, we drove to a back of this church that was being built, and it was a parking lot, and I had no idea what steroids are. I've never tried them before, and yeah, man, I went and, through a friend, I met a guy who was providing the services, if you will, and he basically sold me X amount of... it was a little bit of testosterone, a little bit of, I forget what else it was, but essentially I had no idea what I'm getting myself into, what I'm doing, and it all happened so quickly, right? It just went from a conversation with a friend discussing steroids to, later on that evening meeting somebody who's going to provide it for you. And again, I had no idea. I didn't know anything about it. I knew you could ingest some. I knew there was some that you could inject, but I had never dealt with this kind of stuff before, right? So, we get to the parking lot, meet this dude, I hand him over the cash, and he hands me the stuff, and I'm just looking at it. It comes in little tiny bottles, and I'm like, okay, what am I supposed to do with this stuff? He's like, yeah, man, you just take X amount, you put it into a little syringe, stick it in your butt, and, Bob's your uncle. Make sure you eat a lot, drink a lot of water, exercise a lot, rest a lot. I'm like, cool. So first time, okay, I've never done this before, so he had to do it for me, and I learned on the spot how to give myself a little shot in the butt. So I did that for about, 6-7 months, up to I was on and off the cycle for about a year. I ballooned up an extra 40 pounds. I was weighing around 180, 190 pounds. Looking kind of juiced, looking kind of jacked. I was feeling good about myself. What happened? Let's take it back. Listen, I'm definitely gonna come back and talk about this more, but I just wanted to, sprinkle a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of laughter for you guys today. So I went from, average guy, athletic, working out, to feeling super strong, lifting way more, like heavier. My recovery time got super good. Like I would work out now 2-3 times a day. My calorie intake was, I think I was eating like 6,000 calories at least every day, eating 6-7 eggs, eating a ton of protein shakes. I'm talking weight gainers. Ugh, those disgusting, nasty ass weight gainers. And yeah, man, I did that for a long time, and you're wondering, well, Robbie, what happened? Did you stop? Did you quit? Did you change your mind? And yeah, man, I'll get into that. What was the first trigger that I knew something was up? So I've always heard the rumors that, you might lose your hair, or you might, your dick's gonna shrink. And let me just go through a little bit of those in brief detail so we can, debunk a little bit of the myths. And again, whatever I talk, I'm no expert. I've just tried certain things in life that I'd like to discuss it with you guys. Hopefully you'll laugh at it. Hopefully maybe you'll learn something and, make up your own mind when it comes to making life decisions. You do whatever is best for you. I'm not here to tell anybody to do whatever, okay? Just telling you my experience. So I ballooned up to around 180, 190, and one day I was just at the beach with a few of the friends, playing soccer, playing volleyball, and I got a little teeny tiny cut on my right ankle. No big deal. You always tend to get cuts and bruises here and there, whatever. You play sports, not a big deal. But I went home, a few days went by, a week went by, and this cut just would not heal. Got a little concerned, I went to the doctor, and they gave me a little bit of antibiotics. Took that, and the thing got infected, and it just wouldn't heal. It took like 2-3 weeks, it wouldn't heal, and I was kind of getting concerned, because it was just, honestly, it was the tiniest little cut, and it just got infected, and it wouldn't heal. It was starting to worry me. It was starting to swell up around my ankle, so to the point that I couldn't walk after like 3 weeks. My mom got concerned. She's like, what's up? And I'm like, yeah, I got a cut at the beach. So she's like, let's take you to the hospital. Went to the hospital, and the doctor saw me, and immediately he knew and he recognized the symptoms. He's looking at this, 18, 19-year-old juiced up kid that's, weighing way more than he should, and not looking, I looked jacked, dude. I was a pretty big fella back then. So he's like, and when you go to the hospital, or if you have an emergency in any case, they always ask you, are you taking anything? Are you taking any medications? Because whatever they're going to prescribe you is definitely going to have an impact on you. And these guys being professionals, they want to know what to prescribe you, and they don't want it to interfere or mix with something else that's in your body, so that you don't have a reaction and, get more messed up. Initially, I was kind of scared, right? I'm like 18, 19, laying on a hospital bed, and my mom's kind of worried. My dad doesn't have any idea at this point, and yeah, he asked me, he's like, are you on anything? And I just like looked at him, kind of ashamed, kind of scared, and didn't really say anything, but he helped me out right then and there. He's like, so you're on steroids, right? And that's it, man. Right then and then my mom found out that I've been on steroids for about 6, 7, 8 months. And yeah, basically they gave me a higher dosage of antibiotics. It was I had to take an IV home with me for about a week. Had to take that, and basically, got rid of that infection on my ankle. And that was kind of the first wake-up call. that maybe I'm doing something to my body. I'm feeling great on the outside, looking great on the outside. But what happens when you introduce these, hormones externally to your body is actually you're stopping your body from producing its own testosterone or hormones. So you get jacked up, you feel good, you feel great, but your organs, your hormones, they're not working normally. They're being they're being stomped on, if you will, because they're being held back by that external force. So the myth about the dick shrinkage, your dick doesn't shrink. It's your testicles that shrink a little bit because they're no longer producing testosterone, because you're getting that from an external source. But you can always, do the off cycle. When you're off cycling, you can always take other stuff that'll get your balls to go back to the regular size and stuff. I did all of that for about a year. I did one cycle on, one cycle off, took all my meds, and I forget all the names and everything. It's been over 10 years that I haven't touched any of that stuff. And the tipping point for me was so I was like 19, turning 20, going to college and everything, and I've mentioned this before, right? My dad passed away, so going through a lot of life changes, and I remember when he passed away, for like 3 days I was up non-stop, like literally didn't get any sleep, trying to figure out. My brother was on vacation, it was just me and my mom, trying to take care of my mom, be supportive, and she was, dealing with a lot of stuff on her own as well. But right then and there, my whole routine, my whole life, that was kind of one of the biggest tipping points in my life, where I had to, take a look at myself. I'm still doing that to this day. I'm not perfect by any means, man. I continue to make mistakes, and that's how I learn. That's the type of person I am. But I want to be sharing these stories that if somebody out there is, wondering between the pros and cons. Right now, I'm 31. I've been working out nonstop on my own with my body weight, with my calisthenics at home or outside at the park or at a gym, but I don't take anything anymore. I just try to eat healthy, and, that's the thing. After my father passed away, I couldn't maintain that lifestyle of going to the gym 2-3 times, or, maintaining that high-calorie lifestyle, or you tend to eat a lot, so a lot of the time you notice yourself, if you're dedicating your life to that level of athleticism, that's all your life revolves around: eating, sleeping, getting your rest, going to the gym, doing all that, and you don't really have time to do much else. So at that point I was just like, okay, now I lost a father, so I gotta be concerned about other things. Am I going to be going to school from now on? Am I going to be, I had to start thinking about the realistic things in life, like how to help, maintain a roof over our head, how to, help out around the house and stuff like that. So that really drastically changed my outlook on life and my priorities. And I don't know, if my dad didn't pass away, would I have kept on juicing? Would I have kept on taking steroids? I don't know, but I'm glad that I stopped. I'm glad that and again, this is, in retrospect, I'm so happy about my life. I'm so happy where I am. Nothing's perfect, nothing's 100% complete. I'm a work in progress, and I'm just like everybody else, man. I'm not perfect. I'm just like everybody else, trying to make it and, make sense of it all. But this was something that was, it happened so quickly, and I'm just wondering, I bet, because I've always been a sports fan, right? And having gone through that experience, whenever I see people in the sports world having made it to those higher levels, and they're still competing at certain ages, and this is in any sport, whether it's, track, whether it's cycling, whether it's powerlifting, whether it's soccer, whether it's football or gymnastics or boxing or MMA, whatever it is that you are into, from experience. And like, this is the thing, steroids, the reason why I talk about it is actually it's so available and so easy to use, and it's so accessible. You go into any gym, and again, I'm not saying these things to be promoting anything. Lately, I'm realizing that no matter who you are, you tend to, we all have our biases, right? Whatever I'm trying to say here, I'm just trying to be aware of my own biases at the same time. So I'm just, trying to share that experience with you guys. But it could happen fast, man. You're idolizing somebody. You're like, man, so-and-so's jacked up, and so-and-so's so fast. And especially when you're finishing high school, getting into college, and, you want to, if you're thinking about pursuing professional sports, it's a tempting thought, dude, because a lot of guys do it, and you're like, well, if that guy's doing it and he's got an edge over me, why not? Why shouldn't I do it? Why shouldn't I give it a try? But to each their own, man. These things have been around forever, and like, again, I want to keep this video short, under 20 minutes. But a lot of it goes back to nation building. A lot of it goes back to the world wars, World War I and World War II, and changing the human body, and changing what it means to be a man, and changing what it means to be a woman. And again, if you look at this from a sociological perspective, which I've done, a lot of it, a lot of steroids, where did they come from? How did they start? Well, a lot of these things were actually prescribed during wartime to soldiers, because these guys would be, out in the battlefields for days, weeks, months, years, fighting, not getting enough nutrients, not getting enough proper rest, and all that stuff. So every side, as soon as, I believe it was the Russians and the Germans, and they started juicing these guys and, sending them off to war, and giving them a lot of other stuff too, not just steroids. I'm talking meth, I'm talking cocaine, I'm talking everything, dude. It was just, let's get these people jacked up, let's get these people hyped up, let's get them feeling invincible, and, let's throw them out on these fields and let them just slaughter each other. Every side did it. And that's the history of, and it just became more popularized through imagery and, popular media, because we had certain figures come, like, I'm a huge Arnold fan, right? Growing up, I was a huge Rocky fan, Sylvester Stallone, These guys were all, coming onto the scene, portraying these new images of what a man is supposed to be. And a lot of people, struggle with these body images, because you have athletes, you have people with ample amounts of resources, they got the best nutrition, they got dietitians, they've got different coaches for different types of exercises. But you and me, the average folk, we see that on TV or on a movie, and we know that we can take a little bit of something and get a little bit close to what we think is supposed to be the norm. But in reality, man, it just builds a false sense of, for me anyway, and again, I'm not, and that was a big misconception that I also like to debunk, is that people think just because so-and-so is taking steroids, they're not working hard. No, dude, if somebody wants to achieve some sort of level of excellence at anything, and you see them making it anywhere, it's because they worked really hard. Sure, that thing might, and that's the thing, once you're talking about even elite athletes, they may all at that top level be using it, so it's not a significant difference for any of them. You know what I'm saying? And I can't be saying any of these things like I know it for fact, but just being in that environment, being in the gym environment, having partaken a little bit, gaining a little bit of knowledge, I think it's safe to say that some of your favorite athletes, whether it's basketball, whether it's soccer, at that top level, there's a good chance that these guys are juicing. Part of me actually wants it to be like, can we live in a world where we can, again, this goes kind of, talking about this, I want to leave in 2 minutes. Can we talk about, free use of drugs without any stigma? Because these things have been around, and people are going to use whatever, man. And there are no laws or anything that's going to stop anybody from doing whatever they want. As long as, we can. I would rather have doctors prescribe these things than people like myself. I didn't know what to do, but I just found this guy who gave it to me, and that's how it was. I was cool with it. I was taking this, it was my responsibility, and I did it. And that's how so many people do it, right? You know somebody, you hear somebody, and you try it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I wish that we could openly talk about these things, and hopefully, I don't know, this was just food for thought, man. I hope you got a good laugh at it. I mean, retrospectively, I don't think, yeah, well, I'll talk about this further. I'll talk about this more at another time. I'll keep it short for now, man. Just wanted to get this off my chest for today. Have a lovely rest of the week. I don't know if I'll make another video for this week or not. Maybe I will on the weekend, but I just think I need to rest a little bit. And yeah, man, I'll see you guys soon, though. Thank you guys for coming in and, again, staying tuned, being a part of the journey. Have lots of fun. Stay safe out there, and I'll talk to you all very soon. Peace.